It's the Roundball Rock Podcast, starring Dave Schilling, Spanish influenza, the Ebola virus, Joey Devine, H1N1, the swine flu, the Black Death, Sean Keen, typhus, Hansen's disease, that's leprosy, Joey. Patreons, Barrett Baldelli, thank you, Barrett. Ian Spick, thank you, Ian. Dave DuFour, also the special guest today, thank you, Dave. Special guest James Kirkland, author of the Bill Walton Mysteries. Musical guest Anthrax. And now the temporary host of Roundball Rock, Joey Devine.
Hi, it's me, Joey Devine, your temporary host of the Roundball Rock podcast. And you heard, that's right, you heard Don Pardo right. We've got two special guests today. First off, we've got my friend, my co-host, Sean Keen. Sean, how are you?
Good. I'm recording this from the middle of an empty gym.
Oh, that is.
I broke into a middle school, Joey.
But we also have with us here to talk some news our good friend, our Patreon, Dave DuFour.
Yeah,
Dave, how you doing?
A couple of things. First of all, appreciate that Sean is breaking the terms of his probation in order to mimic Jimmy Butler. That's very noble. And also, I love how you make me sound like a fat cat who bought his way onto the show.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even give you real credits from the Athletic. From the Nerder She Wrote podcast, one of the only good nerd basketball-based podcasts. We are the other one.
I was going to say, hold on. Now, we're at different ends of the nerd spectrum.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Are there other nerd podcasts?
Oh, all of them are nerd podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Dave DuFour. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Are you self-quarantined yet?
Actually, I don't, not to make light of it, but I did go to Sloan last weekend, and my wife and I actually had that conversation, and so I am sort of, kind of self-quarantining. Like, I mean, not to, again, I'm not making light of it, but
of course,
I'm gonna wait a couple days before I do anything, and I actually have decided. I won't be attending NBA games or NCAA tournament games for at least a month. Like I'm not doing any of that stuff because it is serious, and so I would like to follow the advice of the experts that have studied epidemiology for a long time instead of not doing that.
Right.
Yeah,
Dave. What do you think about me buying a plane ticket to Italy for late August?
Okay, I actually think that's a fantastic idea. If you're paying attention, it's like 3 to 7 months, right? That they're really, really worried about this first swing through. And Italy's getting it early. So, I mean, if you guys trade on the stock market at all, this is nothing different than what billionaires do every single day, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, making a bet on the market. And actually, you're making a positive bet too, because you're betting that Italy is going to get their shit under control.
Yeah, I'm betting on Italy.
That's right. That's right. And you're ready there to get there to help them recover.
Exactly. Yeah.
Public service, really. It's like you almost can't justify not doing it.
Right, like I'm helping the wine industry, the service industry,
the pasta industry,
the
crumbling statue industry.
Is the gabagool industry?
It's gabagool.
Gabagool.
But that's actually not to get Italian. That's an Italian American thing.
Yeah.
It's specifically like New Jersey, Philadelphia, Italian American.
That's what Italy's like, Joey.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
That's where Furio is from.
I should also mention off the top here, just some business. Round Rock Pod at Round Rock Pod on Twitter, roundrockpod@gmail.com. If you want to email us, give us 5-star reviews on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Patreon.com/roundrockpod, where we finally had our second episode of our brand new Golden State Warriors podcast, Watching Wiggins, in which Sean and I both learned to love the basketball of Andrew Wiggins and maybe learn a little bit about each other. Also, later on in the episode, we're going to have an interview with author James Kirkland, who is the author of the Bill Walton Mysteries series. And it is a real great interview, so stick around for that. But first, let's get serious! Let's go to the news.
This is Round Ball Rock News. Basketball news. For humans and robots. Trust the process.
All right, our first piece of news, guys, is about the virus. We talked about it a little bit already. The virus is changing everyone's plans constantly. There's no telling what's going to happen with the virus. But the first thing that happened is our man, Golden State Warriors owner Joe Lacob, the city of San Francisco told him to not have a game tonight because it would endanger their citizens. And Sean, what did Joe Lacob say?
Well, let me just give you Joe Lacob he just said no. He said no.
Yeah,
they had
right,
the game.
That's what I mean. He said no.
Yeah. So corrupt pre-indictment San Francisco Mayor London Breed.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get into this, she took thousands of dollars in gifts from a corrupt politician. I'm not going to blame her for also dating that corrupt politician, just like I'm not blaming Kamala Harris for dating former Mayor Willie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in San Francisco, you're going to date a shitty guy. Like that's how it works in that city.
But
she
one
released
of those
recommendations Friday about closing non-essential large gatherings such as concerts, sporting events, conventions, or large community events. However, this game between the Clippers and the Warriors was deemed essential by Joe Lacob, who made his fortune trading medical stocks.
Yeah, now let's ask Dave a question here. Dave, you've been telling us about the coronavirus for longer than the news, I would say.
You mean
almost like you knew about it in advance?
Yeah, privately. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, this is the wrong podcast.
And you know more about basketball than us. So question, was the Golden State Warriors versus the Los Angeles Clippers game tonight essential? I mean,
yes, to a certain degree for the Golden State Warriors, because it essentially, it got them out of the playoffs, right? So they can stop pretending like they care. Then if they don't run Steph out there again, nobody cares.
I care.
But to the world,
I care, Dave.
No. To the world, no. Like, I have this issue with a lot of things that are basketball and basketball adjacent. I hate ball is life. Not the brand, but the saying. Like, I don't like that at all.
Do you like when an 8-year-old...
Very clearly not.
Do you like when, like, an 8-year-old wears a shirt with, like, a faceless muscle man on it, and it says, like, you better come hard in the paint or don't come at all?
Actually, yes, when it's a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? But when it's a 40-year-old, no. Like, get a life. And I think that one of the things that gets lost quite a bit is that this is just basketball. And I don't care about billionaires' monies. I'm not counting their money, and I really don't care about it. So just cancel this shit. But the truth is, everyone has free will. You don't have to go to those games. It just seems that we can't stop ourselves from doing dumb stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they should have canceled the game, but also people can, they can self-isolate as well. And so a little bit of that personal responsibility could go a long way here on multiple fronts.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question about the coronavirus?
Yes.
Say
sure.
you're not exposed to the coronavirus because you've been hiding, you've been self-quarantining in, say hypothetically it's a wine cellar in maybe
Chase
the basement
Center.
area
Yeah.
of a fancy NBA arena.
Mm-hmm.
But your blood boy may have been exposed to the coronavirus. Should you stop juicing your blood with the platelets of a younger, healthier man?
Yeah,
during
it's
the crisis?
It's viral, so you definitely do not want to do that.
Okay.
So it's viral. Like, how many retweets does it have?
It's like, is it like half the highlights?
That
or
really
just
is
worldwide wob.
It's funny. It's that actually is. It's kind of like the only viral that the NBA is really wrapping their head around right now.
Yeah.
My expectation is that probably by the time you get this show edited and released, they will have said they're playing in empty gyms. That's almost there, right? But you still are talking like, I mean, what are they traveling with every team? Are they really going to go down to like 25 people? That's still a lot of people. Are they going to self-quarantine so that they don't become infected? Are they going to test everyone? Are they going to test all the players? We can't even get tests for people who are exhibiting symptoms. How are they going to know which players have it and which players don't? What if the Lakers have been exposed to it and LeBron has it? He's positive. And then they go and play.
He's getting older.
They're going to play the Orlando Magic. Now, all of a sudden, you've taken it to Orlando.
Well,
I'm
going to say right now, I mean, if you tested LeBron's blood right now, it probably would test positive for something, but I don't know if it's coronavirus.
MVP trophies. MVP
Yeah. Tacos. Yeah. I'm talking, there's so many tacos in his blood.
3 letters.
Just this wine. I think he had 2 glasses of wine after that Clippers game. That's a problem.
So I just, we can all sit at home for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully, right? Like as long as the people that control the purse strings of the country do the right thing, which I know we can't count on them to do. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, like, we could all sit at home for a month. There's plenty of good stuff on Netflix. Maybe Turner will take the time to fix League Pass. Maybe it'll throw up classic games on League Pass so you can go back and watch all the stuff, or just show good stuff on NBA TV. This is not difficult, and every expert in the world is saying we need to do one thing, and it's not even because we can stop the spread. It's here. It's going to spread. The truth is, we got to do it so that we don't run out of hospital beds, so that the people that are really sick can actually get treatment, and we don't have, 500,000 people die in the next 3 or 4 months.
Hey,
so the NBA should just cancel these fucking games.
I will say, Dave, look, the Joe Lacob and the Chase Center did do their due diligence. They posted a really shitty sign that said, "Do not enter if in the last 2 weeks you have bullet point experienced fever, tiredness, dry cough, aches and pains, nasal congestion, runny nose, sore throat, or diarrhea." Or, second bullet point, traveled to any location subject to level 1, 2, or 3 travel health notice by the CDC, such as Iran, China, Italy, South Korea, Japan, or Hong Kong. So, I'm pretty sure no one who was there tonight got exposed to anything. Don't worry about it, Dave.
Also, Joey, it said that people were, by walking past the sign, people agreed not to sue the Warriors.
Mm-hmm. Very tight. Super cool. Love it.
Yeah. So
remember, folks, remember to wash your hands after you cover your ass.
Yeah. So
I recycled that joke, by the way.
Should we talk about the potential playoffs of this? Yeah.
Well, no. What we need to talk about right now is what Woj just tweeted, which is the NBA is discussing possibly moving games in affected areas to neutral sites or places without outbreaks. So
well, they're trying to help the coronavirus.
Exactly.
Get it over with,
they want a barnstorm like the old original professional basketball, but instead of showing off the sport, they want to show off the beautiful coronavirus that is coursing through everyone's veins.
Now the sad thing is that Seattle is not a safe area, right? Isn't Spokane a bad area for corona right now?
No, Seattle. It's all of that is terrible. That's basically the epicenter currently of. But I also saw a thing that they might have the most cases only because there was one doctor who's been testing, and the federal government told her to stop, and she didn't stop. So
I'm just saying it. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. I'm just saying it's got to be tough that Seattle will not get professional basketball.
Well, don't worry, Sean. I saw multiple people tweet about how this means Seattle could get basketball back tonight, and I was like, oh, lots of basketball people do not follow the news at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that they're going to be holding supposedly going to be having an NCAA regional in Spokane. I do not think that will be happening.
I don't think anything's happening. I actually, my guess is that the NCAA winds up canceling the tournament.
Dude, that's so crazy.
They're like, none of these teams are that great.
But there's just no justification to be made to play the games, period, in particular for the NCAA. Think about it.
Because you're picking 68 teams definitively from all over the country, and
kids. Like, it's not like you're in control of what they're doing during their off time. NBA players, like, you pretty much can account for them. Not that you're in control, but like, it's not hard to guess where these guys have been. Go and swab all the strip clubs in Houston and Atlanta. We know where they go.
Mm-hmm. Mostly
the Cheesecake Factory.
I will say, the Cheesecake Factory, but I will say the safest team is for sure the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they've just been playing Fortnite all night since Jimmy Butler left.
Yeah.
They've been self-quarantining for years.
Yeah. They've locked themselves in the basement. The standings.
Gordon Hayward, safe. We know he's safe from corona, right?
His wife makes him take a dip in a bathtub full of Purell a couple times a day
to get the Gamergate off of him. All right.
Yeah.
But they're going to play these games to empty stadiums, right? That's what's going to happen. Or you think they're going to cancel games?
That's where we're going to start. I do believe. Again, it's irresponsible to do it at all. I think they'll be playing in empty arenas next week. Yes. And ultimately, I think they wind up pushing the season back. I just don't see any way around it. You either cancel or you push it back.
I mean, here's a question. Coming off of the China revenue stuff, shouldn't they just cancel it and call the whole season a wash? Like, just be like, we've lost all this money anyway. Let's just.
But then you're doubling down, and you're actually losing more, right? Like, the TV stuff matters.
Yeah, no, it's too.
You have to fulfill the commitment. I mean, of course, ESPN and TNT would be involved in whatever decisions made, but or Turner, not TNT, but
it's hard to make good on that,
right?
Especially given that a lot of owners are fairly leveraged. It seems like.
I just hope someone thinks of the bloggers in all this. How the content mines are going to run dry.
You know what? Content will never run dry. Roundball rocks, baby. We can do this all day. Because you know why? We barely talk about basketball as it is.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of podcasts like that.
So,
Not all of them are funny.
should we go through and see and look at those empty gym matchups, Joey?
Yes, let's operate
gosh.
under the idea that these teams are playing in empty gyms, and let's decide who has home court advantage in the playoffs. Right, Sean? That's what we want to do.
Yeah, and should we just go through the matchups? Or
Sure. Yeah, let's do the matchups.
Let me just double check. Atlanta is not the 8th seed, right?
Unfortunately, not. They should be the 1 seed, considering they're just listening to Sir Foster play anyway. So,
is he? Yeah. That's the only guy who's got to be there. And,
quarantine Sir Foster.
okay. So we got Bucks Nets.
Okay.
Oh man, I think the Nets have the home court advantage there.
I do too.
Well, because the thing is, they've just been. First of all, they have hipster fans in general, but also they've been spending so much time trying to tune out Kyrie Irving all season that they're almost playing. They're used to playing without relying on sound. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but there's a couple of things. First, a lot of people still think they're in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Including people that live in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you mentioned they have a lot of hipster fans, and you know how hipsters love to tell you about the weather in New York in like April and May?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they're going to be inside. No way.
Yeah.
If we're taking them at face value.
All right, what's our next matchup, Sean?
We've got the Toronto Raptors and the Orlando Magic.
Easy, Orlando.
Yeah, Jurassic Park's way too wild.
But even so, they'll just be happy a DeVos isn't seeing them in person. You know what I mean? Just
yeah. There's no one good. Like even Tiger Woods going to a game is kind of creepy for them.
Yeah, just giving them their Crypt Keeper eyes while they're playing basketball. Fultz can finally play free for the first time in his damn life.
Mickey Mouse being a weirdo with his courtside seats.
What do you think what would they do with Jurassic Park? I mean, it's closed, I guess. But do you have the inflatable raptor there? Is that where Drake gets to watch the game?
This is actually my question. If they're going to play these games in an empty gym, do they still have the mascot come around?
Yeah.
Oh, there will be no game ops. So there'll be no music. Maybe the Lakers, LeBron's going to put on a playlist, you know?
Dave, are you excited a little bit for there to be a basketball game with no music or crowd events?
Can't believe you're doing this to me, Sean. Okay.
You're a little bit excited. Not for the outbreak, but just for the telecast to see what it's like.
Yes, I will admit that there is a part of me that really wants to see what it's like. Now, remember, in my original rant against the in-arena music, it is about not having that real fan experience, the fans getting excited, following the action, things like that. Because I do think that really makes a difference. And my trip to Serbia, that's the thing that I always go back to is how into every possession those people were. Mm-hmm. So with that caveat in mind, oh man, this will be like being a fly on the wall in, some of the highest level pickup games you could think of. I hope they lean into it, add a minute delay and mic up every single player.
That's what they should do.
Be great. Yeah.
Mic up every.
Yep. And you know what?
Kill the mics when the ball is dead. Okay. Because I don't want to put those guys in the position where they can't, because they need a little bit of privacy to just do the things that they do, right? Catch up. I don't want to hear coach strategy or any of that. But when the ball is live, let me hear everything.
I do want to hear the coach strategy. Just who cares, man? Every team knows what everybody's running. They all know. We're not talking about the Astros here. Just make it a full-on TV show. And you know what? Silver lining, they'd probably figure out a better televised product.
I was just about to say, I feel like if you had this thing where the players are mic'd up, right? And you just, while the action's going, we can hear them. There's a good chance that would start being a special event that would be baked into the TV deals. It would be that big. Hear LeBron. Listen, the other night I watched LeBron against the Clippers. He dribbles the ball up court, didn't like the play they had called, and he literally used his fingers like you're playing pickup with blind people, and he pointed to every single dude that he was playing with where to go and was barking instructions, and they wound up getting a KCP layup out of it, which is incredible. Okay, he diagrammed a play on the court, told everyone where to go, told the Clippers where they were all going to go, and still got a bucket out of it. I want to hear that process.
Can you believe how disappointed Greg Popovich would be that this could be the year he'd be in the playoffs with no sideline reporter?
Oh, no media whatsoever.
He's just like, I
mean,
I just hope they get Tibbs to call the game again from that closet he was hiding in when this summer. I guess we have to play that now. Hold on.
And I think that's a good point. He's been through it before. Great offensive rebound there. Good extra pass.
Harris.
Wide open three.
Barnes knocks down the three.
All right. Sean,
Steve Javie also completely safe.
Yeah.
Steve Javie's been in that panic room for 5 years.
Steve Javie's been in that hole in the ground from Lost since he retired as a ref. He's the healthiest man on earth.
He has to push that button all the time.
You don't know this about Steve Javie, but under the just below the line of sight of the camera, he's wearing Kleenex boxes on his feet, and there are jars of his urine cataloged all around him like Howard Hughes. Sean, what's our next playoff matchup?
The Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. God, what a wretched hive of humanity has been banned from both those arenas.
So can the Boston Garden somehow pipe in pre-recorded chants from the Celtics chant Twitter account?
Oh, yeah, everyone should follow that at Celtics chants.
Yeah. Follow at Celtics chants. Do you want to know what the latest at Celtics chant tweet was?
Oh, please. The newest tweet is from June 6th, 2012. Quote, "Good job, good effort."
So yeah, it's good job, good effort. Can they pipe that in? Good job, good effort. Good job, good effort. Either way, I'm taking the Sixers. Look,
I was going to say, the Sixers...
no one's going to throw batteries at them.
Yeah, they get the advantage. No, there's nothing worse than being booed at home, you know? Like, when my wife does it, it's awful. And I can tell you from experience, yeah. The Sixers will play up. Ben Simmons will shoot threes. With no fans to judge him.
Shoot a three, you coward.
Actually, no. He won't shoot threes. No, I am completely wrong because the only time he shoots threes is when the crowd goats him into it. So, yeah.
All right, Sean. What's our next matchup?
The Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Because the Heat are so used to getting encouragement from Jimmy Buffett on the sideline.
Right. And Flo Rida as manager, I believe, is also involved. I think this is going to help the Miami Heat actually focus. Because I think I just feel like this team has a pretty horny vibe already. Mm-hmm. And I think that just not being distracted by a Miami crowd might help them play a little more consistently.
You know what? That's a great point, Sean.
You know what, though? I think you're not thinking about how they perform right now. Remember, this is a good first quarter team. Nobody shows up to those games in the first quarter. They're already used to it.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
they play their best basketball in front of no one.
You've convinced me, Dave.
That's why their home record's so good. Yeah.
All right, Sean. Well, and then the other thing about the Pacers is without that crowd there, the coaches won't be forced to play TJ McConnell.
Yeah, or TJ Leaf, actually.
Yeah.
Either one It's like Bill Russell's Celtics going on the road. They could finally play their 5 best players at once.
All right, Sean, let's do the Western Conference real quick.
Okay, so we got Lakers, and right now Lakers and Grizzlies.
I mean, this is a hard one because on one hand, Anthony Davis is used to playing to a lackluster crowd, right?
Right.
But on the other hand, I think is one of those young guys that really feeds off a crowd. You know what I mean?
And I think Rajon Rondo, noted germaphobe, is gonna really be able to relax in this situation.
Except if they're miking all the players up, Rajon Rondo is going to be very afraid he's going to out someone again, because he's the worst person on earth.
Yeah, he's a terrible guy. Yeah. Avery Bradley is going to be excited about a lack of witnesses as well, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the Lakers, right?
Yeah, I think it's the Lakers. No one out on the streets because of coronavirus. Nobody, trying to get to the arena.
Well,
they'll arrive on time. They won't have to deal with traffic.
Well, and plus they turn the lights down on the crowd anyway, so it's not like they're looking at the crowd that much anyway. They're kind of used to it.
Just turn the music up.
All right, Sean.
Put a cardboard cut up of Jack Nicholson out there. It'd be fine.
All right, Sean, what's next?
Clippers and Mavericks.
This one's easy. This one's super easy. It's the Clippers.
Yeah.
And it's because maybe if they finally play a game without a crowd, Doc Rivers' voice will finally come back.
Yeah.
Because he won't have
What do you think, Joey?
Guys, I look, I feel for that man. That's exactly how I sound after a game. Coaching a game. Sounding
but have you sounded like that for 22 years straight?
Except not. Have you seen Uncut Gems yet, Sean?
No.
So there's a point in Uncut Gems where they cut to the locker room.
Oh.
And you only hear Doc Rivers' voice giving the speech. And at the time I was like, oh, this is like the worst Doc Rivers impersonator I've ever heard. Because he has like a regular voice. And then I stayed for the credits and it says in the credits Doc Rivers as Doc Rivers. So really what happened is that Clippers team is what's done it to his voice, dude.
Oh, if Chris Paul did it, yeah.
It's screaming at Chris and Blake and his son.
That's what happened. It was Austin got back on the team, and it was just like he couldn't keep it together anymore. And that's why he had to trade his own son away. Also, the Mavericks are uniquely equipped to deal with this virus because of how much disinfectant they already had to spray around the team offices after the Pants DJ was finally fired.
All right, what's the next one, Sean?
The Denver Nuggets and the Houston Rockets.
This one's a tough one. Because Russell Westbrook is always screaming at fans. So he's going to be... But I can't tell if it like feeds him or not, you know what I mean? Or if he gets distracted. Right. But also they're not going to have to... They might feel less pressure to, not shoot 2 for 27 from 3 in the fourth quarter of a game.
This is the thing. Like, this is almost like the ideal Houston Rockets experiment. Like, they always say, like, they're the best team on paper, theoretically. Well, this is like essentially playing in a clean room, right? Like, I think it actually benefits the Nuggets because the Rockets would feel too much pressure from that.
I don't know. Doof, what do you think?
I mean, the Rockets are another team that often is playing in front of next to no one. Mm-hmm. But then you've got the elevation factor. You gotta factor that in. I feel like the Denver might still have an advantage.
Well, Denver also has fans, but they're stoned, so they're not totally following the game.
Oh man, you know what? No contact high for the opposition.
Yeah.
Gotta give it to Houston.
Yeah,
Houston's going to win that series.
Well, let's be honest, though. I think certain Houston Rockets players might be a little tolerant to the hot boxing going on in the Denver arenas.
I will say, if this virus is a sign of the end times, then the demon horse that guards the Denver airport, prophecy says he will awaken and begin his reign over the Mile High City. So just keeping that in mind.
What a mean thing to say about John Elway. All right. What's next, Sean?
Oh my God. I feel like just mentioning this series will automatically call someone's manager and file a complaint. It's the Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Wow.
I got to think OKC.
Why?
They benefit more.
Yeah, because they can play Rudy Gobert off the court.
Yeah. Well, they also are pumping in crowd noise anyway, so I think they're probably...
fair point.
That's fair.
Also...
And the Utah Jazz, I think, are probably the most wretched opposing fans in the NBA.
What I was going to say is I think Utah just doesn't play the same when Mitt Romney's not there. So
that's true. What if Mitt's the only one who's allowed to go? It's like he was the lone man who stood up to Trump and the Republican Party. He's the lone man that gets to go to these games.
Who's OKC's famous fan?
That guy that shot bullets at Kevin Durant's house or whatever. That guy who owns a bar. The guy who fought Draymond. Oh, it's Bill Hader, actually. That's their famous fan.
I think Wayne Coyne is estranged from the team. Is that right?
I believe that's the case, yes.
But Wayne Coyne is definitely the most famous person who's been to a lot of Thunder games.
Yeah, but
they just didn't like that he cheered for everybody.
Bill Hader is their famous fan.
That's it. I forgot.
Yeah.
What if it was just Wayne Coyne and Mitt Romney sitting side by side, even though the rest of the arena was empty?
Mitt Romney, fresh off his APAC trip.
Yeah, he'd infect. I don't know if Wayne Coyne can get coronavirus. I'm going to be honest. I think
he's been spending a lifetime building up immunities to a lot of things. What if he's there? Nobody gets coronavirus, but just from being next to Wayne Coyne, Mitt Romney gets crabs.
I was going to say, what if Wayne Coyne dosed Mitt Romney?
He's gonna see the Angel Maroney.
All right. Is there any other news we want to talk about with Dave?
Can we talk about Kenny Atkinson just real fast?
Yeah, we haven't talked about it on the show yet. Dave, you want to talk about Kenny Atkinson real fast?
Sure.
Dave.
What?
So my interpretation of this was that ostensibly he was fired by Sean Marks, but actually he was fired by Kyrie Irving, being backed up by vice president of their friendship, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, the quote from Shams and Alex Schiffer today was from Dave DuFour's TheAthletic.com. Was Katie and Kyrie never connected with Kenny Atkinson, and there was a belief they did not have interest in playing for him when the Nets are whole again next season.
Yeah, but they didn't play for him.
That's
right?
my question.
Of course not.
I have also never connected with a boss at a job I've never worked for.
Yeah. Listen, everyone should have known he was a lame dunk coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting him through this year, I mean, I didn't expect him to get fired. I don't think the Nets expected to fire him. I'm certain that they expected to do it during the summer.
Right. That sounded like a Joe Tsai thing to me, that he kind of did it on his own.
Jumped the gun.
Talked to the players and then fired him immediately.
Jump in the gun, right?
Yeah.
The plan was you at least get through the rest of the year with the money that you've paid, and then you figure something out. He should have known. I mean, I'm sure he did know that he was on his way out when they signed those guys.
Well, and the ownership changed too. Like his immediate boss didn't change, but the big boss did.
Right. And that's a guy who probably hasn't gotten enough credit for what he's done to get the team to the point where they seemed like a good enough franchise to be able to sign guys like that. Because I'm sorry, but building a nice new practice facility, that's not enough. You know, you got to show.
I think it is.
No,
That's
you
what
got to
they
show.
tell me.
Yeah, you got to show some competence on the court, right? If this was still a team winning 14 games, you're not signing Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So I think
I don't know,
and I don't want to sound like the guy who's like, you know, Mr. Coach guy supporting the coach, but the truth is, he did a really good job. You don't get the development that they got out of those players without good leadership on the coaching staff, and he's known as that guy who's good as a development guy. Of course, he might just be a development guy, and we don't know. I don't know how anyone would know because he hasn't had a chance to actually compete with the team. The team that he took to the playoffs last year was gutted in order to, you know, make a team that didn't have its two highest paid, maybe two best players for the entire season, and he's still making the playoffs. So you can't say he did a bad job, is what I'm getting.
You know what this really kind of reminds me of, just overall, is the Orlando Magic team in 99, 2000, where they're it's the year where they're ready to just clear space and try to get Duncan and McGrady and Grant Hill, and they get 2 out of 3. But they have this like great scrappy team under Doc Rivers, and they play really hard, and then they just gut the entire team that year. And I think they even got rid of, they had like 3 or 4 first round picks, and they got rid of all of those except Mike Miller too. And, Doc Rivers did last a little longer than that, but it still at the same time felt like we spent all this time building this team culture and getting these kind of unheralded guys to play their asses off. And then we got rid of half of them.
Right.
Well, stars are the ones that define the culture, though, right? Isn't that actually what happens?
Kind of, yeah.
Especially when you're, but I mean, yeah. I mean, you're bringing in these guys too, so it's like,
you surrendered your team, right? That was, exactly. And that was implied when they signed the deal, is that they were going to be empowered. And we're all in support of player empowerment, or at least I am to a certain degree, because I actually have limits on how much power I think players should have. Just kind of almost for their own good, because we've just seen it not work out so often.
See, I think Kyrie Irving in particular should get all 48 laws of power. But only Kyrie.
I mean, listen, you get the power that you can negotiate for. You feel like he can negotiate for that? I mean, I guess he is, one of the VPs of the Players Association now, so maybe.
I also think it's amazing that after this happened, people were saying like, they didn't start DeAndre Jordan. That was always going to be a problem. I'm still just baffled that DeAndre Jordan is this key man in this situation, that everyone is acting like the Nets have a big 3 and DeAndre Jordan is like the all important, third part.
When he's the guy who was starting over him is clearly better.
Yeah. Like DeAndre Jordan has been like clearly unequivocally declining for 2 years at least. But it's like, that was the unpardonable sin. They thought they might get be able to stand Kenny Atkinson, but then he put DeAndre Jordan there.
And see, that lets me know that he knew he was out this summer.
Oh,
and he just got fed up.
And he was like, Durant's not even playing. Kyrie's not trying.
Well,
Fuck it,
Kyrie's
I'm not.
Been hurt all year.
I mean, yeah. It's a story. But they've been terrible when he played.
Right. Well, I think that's our portion with Dave. Hey, Dave, thanks for coming on, man. Do it whenever you want.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll just start calling in on Skype. Just make sure you use this call, and I can hop right in.
Oh yeah, we can always do that.
Perfect.
What would you like to plug, Dave?
Nothing.
Okay, I'll do it for you. Nerder, she wrote, is on the back-to-back feed and also available on the Athletic and any podcast.
You know what?
Platform.
I will interrupt you to plug the show we just did from Sloan, which was excellent. Had like a great drop in. We talked about 40 different things. And that was actually a really, really fun, good show. Not that they all aren't fun, but that one in particular. Maybe just because it was the most recent one, though.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's called recency bias, you fucking nerds. That's uncalled for.
Yeah, it's unscientific. A lot of gut feeling there. Eye test or ear test, as it were.
Actually, now I'm liking the sound of that more.
All right, now we've talked about sad and scary things, firings, emptiness, quarantines, but luckily there's something that makes me happy anytime I think about it, and it's a combination of mystery novels, reading, and Bill Walton. And luckily, to bring us up, here's an interview we did with the author of Fire on the Mountain, the second in the Bill Walton Mysteries series, James Kirkland. It's available for purchase right now on Amazon, and I highly recommend it. Here's Sean and I talking to James Kirkland. We're here with James Kirkland. Oh man, what an NPR intro from Joey. James is an actor, a screenwriter, and now a Portland native, we should also point out, living in Los Angeles, who now is more importantly the author of currently, I believe, the only mystery NBA themed book series, the Bill Walton Mysteries. Last year, Friend of the Devil came out. That's about Bill Walton and Dave Pash solving a kidnapping in Seattle. And now, is it out? Is Fire on the Mountain out yet, James, or is it?
March 10th. Fire on the Mountain drops March 10th.
Yeah. The Bill Walton Mysteries.
So next week.
Yeah. Series 2, Fire on the Mountain, which of course takes place in Maui, with Dave Pash and Bill Walton, comes out March 10th. James, how are you doing?
Oh, terrific. Thank you. That was an incredible introduction. It's an honor to be on the pod, guys. Really is. I'm doing fantastic. I'm just excited getting the word out about my book series, as you say, the Bill Walton Mysteries. Very excited. It's just it's been a wild ride. A very specific idea that I had 2 years ago has now become 2 novels that I'm really proud of. And
I have to say, when I first heard about them, I thought there's no way that this is real. Occasionally we'll talk about stuff on the podcast, and then real things will happen in the world. Like there was a Lopez twin commercial where they were directing puppets, and I was like, did we dream that? And then it became anyway. The Bill Walton Mysteries feels like that to me.
Yeah, it could have been incepted by you guys, and I just picked up on the inspiration in the ether. You guys are Los Angelinos. We're right around. It's all around here. Thank you. That's high praise.
So, I guess my first question I have for you is probably everyone's first question, and it's why Bill Walton and why mysteries?
Well, I love Walton. I mean, he's just so enthusiastic about literally everything. I mean, but only a specific amount of things that he loves. He's a real vibes guy. He really if the vibes aren't right, he's not with it. I mean, anything. Walton would be just like a terrific real estate agent if he was selling anything. Glendale, the access to schools, nature, it's all there. You couldn't believe the walkability if you go down Pomona Boulevard tonight. Like he's like Mr. Enthusiastic. He's Mr. He seems like he's so genuinely him. He doesn't care about what is going on during the game. You know, he just will talk about the moons of Saturn for 6 minutes, and then Dave Pasch will have to be like, in 54-55 here, Bill, if we get back to the game. And I couldn't. I started listening to his broadcast, him and Pasch broadcast, like podcast. Like it was a live concert. It's like going to see the Grateful Dead. You know the songs. He's going to talk about the Pac-12. He's going to talk about the Missoula floods. He's going to talk about the Conference of Champions. He's going to talk about UCLA. He's going to talk about John Wooden. And but you never know how it's going to come out. And it's always different, and it's always entertaining. And I also always love mystery novels. I love Jack Reacher. I love Harry Bosch. I love long series. Yeah. And, I was like, I wanted to write a mystery novel, and I wanted to find the perfect detective. And I kind of came to the conclusion that Walton is this extraordinary, Sherlock Holmesian kind of guy. He also seems like the kind of guy that if his buddies were in trouble, he would go the extra mile.
Oh, absolutely.
And if that means tracking down biker gang, he's going to track down a biker gang. You know, he's going to get it done. And Dave Pasch is just kind of the Dr. Watson was so perfect. He's the perfect straight man. I kind of created a fictional world where Bill Walton respects Dave Pasch. And that's kind of most proud achievement.
I will say, if you like Jack Reacher, Bill Walton is the one person whose physical dimensions seem to match what Jack Reacher is described as in the book.
Right,
Just
exactly.
like
NBA
hands.
Players are like that. Yeah, hit fists like frozen turkeys. Like this, this larger than life figures are kind of why we love the NBA and why we love these superstars. And Walton is also just like, I'm a Portland guy, obviously. He got us our one championship in '77, and he rode his bike to the games. He was also the most Portland dude ever. Like, no one was more granola than Walton. And it was true. It was authentic. It wasn't putting on airs. And then him also matched up. He's always matched up with the kind of polar opposites. Like John Wooden was the kind of polar opposite of him. He's the squarest, most upright Midwestern dude. But somehow they both made each other great and better. It's just, I feel like kind of why when I listen to Walton and Pasch now, I'm like, these guys are so different. But what if they were solving mysteries? And then, that was my book.
So I have a question for you about Fire on the Mountain, the newest Bill Walton mystery. Takes place in Maui,
yes, the latest.
Right? And they're at the Maui Invitational. Now, there's one other weed-based NBA figure who lives in Maui, named Don Nelson. Does his weed appear at all in Fire on the Mountain?
Guys, I said I wasn't going to do any leaks, any spoilers. I want people to read the book. But this particular question, I have to, I'll just say ... winky face. Read the book. Not going to say any more than that. It's an emoji. That's all I can give you. And maybe like a slightly smirk emoji too. Like, that's it. That's it though. Nothing more.
So how many Bill Walton mysteries do you think you have in you? You're on number 2.
Guys, I got 1,000 in me. I'm ready to go. The only thing is I need people to buy the book so I can keep going. And it's not like being a novelist is a challenging thing to embark upon. I'm finding out, but I'm embracing the challenge. I love the challenge. What is success? Is it plaques on the wall? Is it trophies? No, it's a satisfaction of knowing you did your best every day. That's John Wooden. That's the Conference of Champions. That's UCLA comeback basketball. But so so please, I encourage all your listeners out there, if you're interested, this all entices you, go to Amazon right now and check it out, or on March 10th. I have so many ideas. I mean, he could do anything. He can go anywhere, although we like keeping it to basketball tournaments. So it's
I was really thinking of like an Insomnia style thing at the Great Alaskan Shootout. Dave Pasch can't sleep because it's bright all the time.
I actually had
Trajan Langdon could be a supporting character.
Oh my gosh, for the Great Alaskan Shootout, of course.
I actually
Frozen Tundra.
I actually have a spin-off pitch for you too, which is the young Bill Walton mysteries. That's him and Jamal Wilkes in Hardy Boys style adventures, and every time they have to tell John Wooden about the mystery.
Yeah, he's like Fenton Hardy, the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
They constantly, and it can be like more Encyclopedia Brown level crimes, like someone got a term paper stolen.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh no. Someone shaved someone's head without John Wooden's permission. Who did it?
So
yeah, that's actually amazing. I love those.
So the other thing I had,
oh my gosh, the Hardy Boys aspect.
So the other,
we've got to get back in the team bus by 7:00. Or Coach is gonna have a conniption. Don't worry, Jamal. We're just going to find the secret rock that I need to find for my rock collection.
So
like gem hunting.
So the other question I had for you. So Bill Walton, you said you're into pulp detective novels, and anyone who's listened to this show knows that Sean and I are insane Bosch heads.
We really are.
Yeah. We love
yeah.
Bosch. So if Bill Walton, go ahead, Sean.
I think I'm maybe more into the Lincoln Lawyer too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
both are great. Both are great, and they're related. I mean, it's his stepbrother, right?
Yeah, they are. Also, the Lincoln Lawyer is totally a cop in those books. He just happens to also be a defense lawyer.
Right, but when he appears in the Bosch books, he's much more of a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then his own books, he's doing whatever. I mean, he's really just whatever it takes to get his clients off clean. You know, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. I think he got way more McConaughey, didn't he?
Way more.
Yes. Yeah, like book 3, once they've made the movies, it's like, he's really hanging out now.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically all righting, Your Honor. It's basically all right, all Your Honor, the whole time.
There's a point where he quits drinking in the books, and then after the movie comes out, they're like, this guy doesn't work with a sober Lincoln Lawyer anymore.
Yeah, he's doing ads for Wild Turkey and Lincoln in real life. He has to be.
The biggest difference between the Lincoln Lawyer and Bosch is, and it's such an LA reference, is that the Lincoln Lawyer's favorite restaurant is Dan Tana's, and Bosch's favorite restaurant is Musso and Frank.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he just loves old LA. He loves it.
But
I took I was watching a 4-year-old, and I took him to get pancakes at DuFour's as a tribute to the Lincoln Lawyer recently.
It's always the worst food. Yeah, they always are so specific with the LA food, and you're always like, why there?
That's not like DuFour's is not good.
Not good, Bosch.
I read a Bosch book once where one of the key points was that a guy knew cops were tailing him because the cops were eating Okie dog. And they were like, that's so far away from where we are. They must have followed me from the west side.
Just loves those Okie dogs. I mean, Bosch, I love, and you know, his motto is just like it. You know, it's coming, and it works every time. It's like Reacher beating people up when he goes, you know, everyone matters or no one matters. Chills every time, right? So I still wanted the Bill Walton mysteries to have moments like that and be serious about the mystery, because I respect Michael Connelly's craft so much, and the way he crafts all of his plots are so intricate and everything ties together so nicely. Well, he hides things like sometimes he hides things like way too well. You're like, we can't know this stuff.
Well, my question was going to be, so if Walton is basketball's Holmes, who is basketball's Bosch?
Ooh.
It's not Barkley, because Barkley's too much of a clown, I think.
Yeah. Gotta have tattoos.
Because Bosch isn't really a genius as much as he's just relentless.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's a lot closer to like a Michael Jordan or a Russell Westbrook.
I was thinking Kobe.
Oh well, yeah, he's kind of and all about he's a symbol of Los Angeles.
LA, right.
Yeah, he's a symbol of
Had
LA.
some marital troubles. Ultimately,
right. Got some tattoos after some marital troubles. Yeah, I think that might has like overlooks the city, kind of like a Batman over Gotham City. You know, when he's having his scotch and his cigarette at night.
I think that makes Pau Gasol the Lincoln lawyer.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
He's conducting business from like a neurology ward for some reason.
Derek Fisher is his driver, or whatever.
He owes Kobe a lot, so he's got to work off that debt.
He owes him rings, so I got to do what I can.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you is, okay, so you're writing mysteries.
Yeah.
When you're figuring out like a Bill Walton mystery, are you coming up with the mystery first, or where you want like the Bill Walton character-y stuff, and then building the mystery out of that?
Yeah, I think it has to start with the mystery, because Walton, we know, Walton's the constant, even though he's a chaotic constant, he's a constant. Like, he's going to react the same in any environment that you put him in. And he's kind of always going to be really chill about it. You know, it's like, but we wanted the mystery to really sink in. I wanted it to have real bites and turns. So that's all got to be beaten out really carefully. And then we kind of plot, Walton in. But it's a lot of Dave Pash as well, I have to say. Like, the stories kind of are about the evolution of Pash. Like Dr. Watson gets changed by being around the great man, so does Pash as he absorbs Walton's lessons of life, and they, track down the real bad guys. So yeah, I think that's a great question, though, because it is kind of a dance, because you want to have Walton be in situations that he was able to be the most Walton. But the secret is he's always the most Walton. He can't turn it off.
Now, do you know if Bill Walton is aware of the Bill Walton mysteries?
Yeah. Actually, I know a guy who went and we sent him the books, of course, through his people. And I know a guy who went and got book 1, Friend of the Devil, signed by him. The guy was like at an event in Portland, and the guy was like, "Hey, Bill, have you heard about these books where you solve mysteries?" And as Bill's signing, he goes, "I've heard rumblings." That's all I got. That's all we, he's got a guy who does his own thing, and we haven't heard from him. He hasn't got in touch, but we would love him to get involved in some way, or not, because it is kind of a sci-fi alternative dimension where in book 1, the Pac-12 tournament takes place in Seattle. So there's slightly different things that are going on in this world. Everything else is fictional.
Well, in this world, is Jerry Garcia alive?
Oof. Yes, always. Always. Where can he go? He's back to the one song, one dream, one vibration, one shot. How are you going to take it? What kind of shot can you get? You've got one possession. Generate the offense. Throw it down. Yeah, I mean, it's really just. I just love that you guys are responding to it, because it is like there's a basketball Venn diagram of people who would love this book, and you guys are right in the middle of it. And so I'm glad, and hopefully your readers are too, and listeners. But you guys should write books too. I think we should write the young Bill Walton ones to talk after the pod.
All right, there's one last thing Sean and I wanted to do before we let you go, and I think while we're putting basketball commentators into genre fiction, I think we should try and beat out a couple of the NBA luminaries. So, Sean, why don't you go first? What genre fiction would you like to see Jeff Van Gundy star in?
Oh, okay. Well, is he with Mark Jackson and Mike Breen?
Let's
because can I pitch
sure.
one that I have? Actually?
Yes, yeah,
Sorry.
sure, please.
Reggie Miller, along with Marv Albert, in a real Michael Crichton style 90s, like erotic thriller.
Oh, an erotic techno
You know what I mean? Like the
thriller?
kind
Yeah.
that Michael Douglas would have made in 1994.
Like Disclosure.
Yeah, like Disclosure, where like Reggie Miller's like maybe like a corporate investigator, and somehow to get through this mystery, he needs to have like to solve this mystery. He needs to have like 4 different sexual encounters throughout the book, and he's just incredulous the whole time. And Marv is like his supervisor, who's
Has to
warning
watch.
him because like he's the cautionary tale, and Reggie just can't listen because he's more horny than he is ready to discover that the Japanese are sabotaging this company.
Yeah, I like that. It's AI is involved too. Somehow.
Yeah. It's like there's virtual reality for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to step into a virtual sexual world for some reason that no one can explain, but it's right in the second act.
Yeah. Reggie's constantly like ripping off a pair of warm-up pants because the sex is so dramatic.
Yeah, like Michael Crichton directed by Spike Lee, though.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. So I have one for, this is a weird guy I picked, but I would like to see PJ Carlesimo in a like a Philip K. Dick-esque like sci-fi cyberpunk thing where he lives in a dystopian future where no one is putting mustard on their passes, and he's just attacking a world full of Latrell Sprewells.
I like it.
Oh my god, I do have a funny PJ Carlesimo story of last year when book 1 was coming out. I was in Vegas trying to get the book to Dave Pash after he was covering the Pac-12 tournament, and yes, I had a couple of beverages, and it was like Pash's people were like, go down to the just hand him the book, just walk down and hand him the book between games. And I was like, wow, great. And I walked down, and I was like, Pash, and trying to point him to the book, and he was like, yay, wearing a T-shirt that said the Bill Walton Mysteries, tie-dye, of course. And I step over maybe the wrong rope that I shouldn't have, and all of a sudden I'm like right behind PJ Carlesimo, and I'm like, Pash, here's the book. I'm like handing it over PJ Carlesimo, not realizing he was still broadcasting on the air for radio. And he's like, what the? And he kind of like hovers the microphone and he gestures for like dudes in suits who quickly swoop upon me and escort me out of the Vegas arena. And I'm like, Pash, no, the book. And Pash, who could have stopped them, knowing what we were doing, looked at us and then looked away. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep writing mystery books about you. But in that moment, I understood Latrell Sprewell more than ever before. I saw how this guy is. I can see people not liking him. That's my PJ Carlesimo story. I do have a pitch for Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Mike Breen.
I love it. Oh, yeah. All right, let's hear it.
Okay. It's a breezy heist movie. They've got to break into Madison Square Garden because there's some kind of, maybe we could tie in like some uncut gems. I don't know, magical gemstone that gives players powers. The thing I hated most about that movie. And they've got to sneak in. Problem is that it's 1998, let's say. Got to give it a random year like uncut gems for no reason. And then it's the Bulls. And they're in Madison Square Garden, and Michael Jordan won't have anything to do with it. They've got to somehow steal something from like the '98 Bulls, and of course Zen Master is the villain. He's like the Andy Garcia. Phil Jackson's the Andy Garcia. kind of. He was bad for a variety of reasons, but it always seems good because he's Buddhist. But that's just the cover.
But they've got to get the exclusive Nikes or whatever from the locker room.
Yes. Yeah, the MacGuffin we can work on. Absolutely. I like that. We'll add a Phil Knight area to maybe Phil Knight's the real power behind the throne, the real shadowy dark character. We don't know why he's bad.
See, I had a pitch for the Inside the NBA crew.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually a play It's a one act play where they are locked in a bar. There's a snowstorm outside, and they are locked in a bar waiting for Shaquille O'Neal to show up. And he never shows.
Waiting for Shaquille.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's beautiful. That is beautiful. Although that is inspired. I thought you were going to say was going to be like a Tarantino-esque. They're all locked in a snowy cabin.
Yeah.
And one of them has betrayed the others in some way.
Yeah. Well, we know who the betrayer is in that group. Let's be honest.
Rachel Nichols walks in and she's like wounded.
Yeah.
It's Kenny Smith.
What happened?
Kenny Smith is the betrayer in that
I thought
group.
it would be Attorney Johnson. His betrayal is his write-in vote for John Kasich.
How dare you? It was you.
I'd also like to see the Van Gundy brothers in some kind of like Lord of the Rings type quest.
I thought the same thing. That's where I was leading with the Van Gundys too.
Yeah, they're transported into a magical realm and they're just complaining about everything the entire time. It's a unicorn. The horn's useless.
And
all their
this road keeps going. I'm not down. Stan does look like a hobbit, for real, like a big hobbit.
And Pat Riley is the Gandalf figure in that story.
Right.
Yeah, Pat the White. Riley the White.
Yeah, Riley the White is L.A. Riley. Riley the Black is everyone else. Every other Riley. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. James, that's been our interview. Please plug the Bill Walton Mysteries.
Plug away.
Oh, guys, thank you. It's just, please buy this book. I love it. It's great. It's funny. It doesn't take itself seriously, but it is a serious mystery book. Like I love Bosch and Reacher too much to not go full ham in the paint on the mystery, but it's obviously funny because it's Walton and Pash. Mm-hmm. Please buy it so I can write 1,000 more. It's what I want to do with my life, but I need people to buy it. And if you're in Portland on the 14th, come to the Rose City Book Pub. Have a beer and buy a book. I'm going to be in person doing a reading there. But buy 10 books and online. Tell your friends. And thank you, gentlemen, so much. It's been really an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you,
Joey
James.
and Sean.
And it just occurred to me as you were saying that we picked an NBA Bosch, but I think it's pretty clear who the NBA Reacher is, and that is Charles Oakley.
Absolutely, Oak. He's even got the nickname Oak. Come on. Yeah, if Oakley was a military policeman whose superpower is waking up on time.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy that Reacher's one superpower is never needing an alarm clock?
Yeah.
Like what? Like, oh, I gotta wake up at 6:45. I'm up 6:45. It's like, okay, cool, man. We have alarm clocks.
Well, I mean, that's clearly why Jordan keeps Oakley around, because he can wake him up out of his tequila hangover. No Mike, problem.
Mike, we got to go. We got to check out. Check out time, Mike. Let's go. One more hand. No, Mike. We got to go. Let's wrap this up. I can beat him. I know you can, Mike. Gotta go. Another game to play.
Thanks a lot, James. Everyone go see his reading in Portland. Buy the Bill Walton Mysteries. Buy them both, in fact. Fire on the Mountain, March 10th. Friend of the Devil out now. And hey, if you know Bill Walton, hook these two up. We need a Walton on Walton in the New York Book Review.
It's 2020. Let's make it happen. Anything can happen. Anything is possible. Let's dream the future. Live the dream. Here we are. Let's go. Pac-12.
What an interview. Once again, by the Bill Walton Mysteries. We need more of those. More importantly, we need what I pitched him, which is the young Bill Walton Mysteries.
Yes.
The Hardy Boys style mysteries with with Jamal Wilkes. You heard the interview. Sean, is there anything you would like to plug?
You can read some stuff on Yardbarker. There's a thing about the Warriors, what they should do in free agency. I also wrote something about the weirdness of the Houston Rockets, which I'm sure will be it's very sympathetic. It's my favorite NBA team.
And then as for me, I'm on the second part of the 100th episode of the Who Cares About the Rock Hall podcast this week. I was on the first part last week. We watched VH1, the first 2 editions of VH1's Divas. It's really funny and it's really fun. I love Who Cares About the Rock Hall. And you can always follow me on Twitter at Frankie Muniz, where on March 9th I tweeted, "It's weird that the hardest thing to find in stores these days is toilet paper. Like, of all the things you could be prepared with, TP is your biggest concern?" Which he's right, because if you're Frankie Muniz, your biggest concern is getting the antidote to scorpion stings. So I get it.
That's the most important thing.
Sean, did you write
Oh my god! If anyone in this country should self-quarantine, it is Frankie Muniz. Like I'm not even sure his immune system is compromised, but like his
body, his life is compromised. Sean, did you write a song?
I did. It's actually about Karl Anthony Towns, but it's a Justin Bieber song, and it's called "Kevin Love Yourself."
All right, we're listening to that right now. Thank you again, James Kirkland. Thank you again, Dave DuFour. Thank you to everyone who's listening, and trust the process.
Trust the process.
And shut it down. Wash your damn hands, you filthy animals.
Fucking pigs.
For all the times that you lost track of your man, and all the games you missed when you hurt your hand, that broke you and Wiggins apart, sent him to Golden State. You signed for 4 years, but you could demand a trade. And maybe you're a superstar, but your defense sucks, so you have a bad point differential. You still got potential. And they could find another coach, but you didn't get any better after Coach Thibodeau was gone. Still should have touched your son. Flipside just didn't like you, and he likes everyone. And this Wolves roster was ruined by David Kahn. I thought your D would be alright. Didn't know you'd play Fortnite, but now I know. You're never sleeping until dawn, 'cause if you hate playing for the Wolves that much, then Carl, you should Kevin love yourself. And if you think D'Angelo's not helping things, then you should Kevin love yourself. All those games where you didn't give a fuck, and that song when Jimmy made you a cuck. There were games where your jumper looked nice, but you looked lost every time Tibbs would yell ice. And maybe you could ask your son, but he doesn't want anyone thinking he's not the head honcho. You could play with Wancho. This team can't hurt anyone. No one can play defense aside from Josh Okogie. Glenn Taylor's an old fogey. Flipside just didn't like you, and he likes everyone. And this Wolves roster was ruined by David Kahn. I thought your D would be alright. Didn't know you'd play Fortnite, but now I know. You're never sleeping until dawn, 'cause if you hate playing for the Wolves that much, then Carl, you should Kevin love yourself. And if you think D'Angelo's not helping things, then you should Kevin love yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, the trumpet stylers of Jared Culver. Got the talent to always be our league, but you really hated playing with Jeff Teague. You're always sulking, your face has a frown. Shouldn't have sent Ricky Rubio out of town. 'Cause if you hate playing for the Wolves that much, then Carl, you should Kevin love yourself. And if you think D'Angelo's not helping things, then you should Kevin love yourself. 'Cause if you hate playing for the Wolves that much, then Carl, you should Kevin love yourself. And if you think D'Angelo's not helping things, then you should Kevin love yourself.